So like I'm all about debunking the mainstream media with the coach's actions, what's next for Michigan. But in terms of what we know, what has been reported from the police station in that general area and from the people close to the program, it's speculative. This is the only speculative part that I'm just not 100% sure of, that this has been an ongoing for majority of the season, and the Michigan AD and program kind of did their best to wait until after the national signing day was complete so that they haven't had an additional time to, one, acquire the players and not have some mass exodus because of this altercation with the head coach, and two, to have that loaded roster and to find a new replacement. But in the meantime that they knew about this scandal, I think they were in search of a new head coach. Who that is, I don't know. There's been a lot of names popping up. But what happened was, I'm trying to get this right. There was an alleged affair going on. He has a wife with 2 or 3 kids, and he had an affair going on with a woman within the athletic department. I should add, a young woman within the athletic department who reportedly was knocked up by Sherrone Moore, and they took countermeasures to have that baby born. Basically, he got caught, and from there, it escalated into a domestic dispute at his family's house, which led to a kicking down a door at the what do you call that? The mistress house, into which he had a weapon and threatened to kill himself and kill that person. And then the police took him in, and he had to answer for what he did. And I don't know. Well, Chad, I kind of want to start with you. I know it was a lot, just kind of like just laying the wood down, basically. But in terms of, yeah, I know, sorry.
I'm so resisting. I was resisting so hard right there.
It was so quiet. Whenever like I stopped talking, it was like pitch quiet. I was like, this is like a really serious segment.
Like, golly.
So I kind of want to gather both your thoughts, and I'll start with Chad on it. Just kind of saying, like, when you're watching this unfold, do you think that, one, like, do you think the Michigan program knew about this prior to when it happened? And two, I mean, just your thoughts on what happened in general. Like, I feel like it's appropriate to get those two takes.
I honestly think when it comes to situationally, I think it's like insane to have a wife, 2 or 3 kids, being on a $13 million contract. I'm like, you're just going to give that up for lustful desires? Like, that's ridiculous, in my opinion. And then with the university, to that, I have no idea if they knew or not. But like, when we were talking about this earlier, like there's allegations that he did stuff after, like when they won the national championship. And I mean, allegedly, I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if they were just trying to hide it as long as they could, or if they seriously didn't know about it. Because I feel like something had, like, word had to have gotten out even before she was pregnant. Like, I feel like, in my opinion, like before she knew that she was like knocked up, she had to have told somebody. I mean, her salary increased. I don't know how much. I think she was making like $50K, and now she was making $90 as hush money.
What was she doing? Insider trading with foreign countries?
Yeah. What is this? A congressman?
Like, this is why your account got banned.
Just Dan Crenshaw.
My name's Ingrid. We better be careful. He might sue us.
That's wild too, by the way. Well, that's a completely different topic, but the Sean Ryan show stuff, that's wild. But
yeah.
Anyway, continue.
I was saying, like, he was like, I just feel like somebody, it was either everybody was like totally caught off guard by this, or a lot of people knew about it. Like, it's just kind of like a flip of a coin. Like, I guess investigation will figure that out. I think they're still in investigation when it comes to like,
I feel like
how long they've known, especially for the university. Like, if they've known for a long time, like there's going to be some consequences for that. But if they figure out like, hey, they just found out, like, and they did it instantly. I mean, they fired him as soon as like that came out.
Yeah.
Which kind of begs the question, like, did they know? Because they did that so fast. He was gone in an instant.
Yeah. It kind of was like, I mean, the timing was impeccable, if you think about it.
I mean, my side of the script take is that they have known for a while, and when they finally found the instance to have him kick the bucket, they pounced on it. I mean, the only reason, dude, they were 7-5 the season prior, but they beat Ohio State. So you can't really get rid of a coach that beat Ohio State when that's your biggest rivalry of the year. I mean, they were borderline talking about Ryan Day being fired, and then he won the national championship. That was like his only saving grace. You're like, dude, go kick rocks. That's ridiculous. But realistically, like, I think it kind of lined up to where, hey, all this stuff is kind of unfolding, and it's kind of probably getting a little bit more out of control because I just don't think he was all mentally there. I don't want to assume. I mean, that's just with all the stuff that we're seeing with reports and what he was doing and how the crimes are adding up. You're kind of just think to yourself, like, dude, how do they just like let this all slip by? And so I guarantee you there's probably like just a stopping point to where like, dude, we got to let him go. Signing day kind of really kicked the bucket for all that. You're just like, hey, we got our guys. Now we can go have him go and then look for another alternative replacement with what the guys that we have and kind of just start a rebuild from there. I don't think they're really have a great year next year, especially since they have probably a lot of guys are going to enter the transfer portal once it opens in January. I mean, we'll see how it goes from there. I mean, dude, I don't know how it's going to go, especially with all the players that just signed up. Could they also enter the transfer portal after that? Like, that's just a question that we can also ask here.
Yeah, I think, in terms of how college football is currently formatted, to answer your question, I mean, these guys are eligible to do kind of whatever they want. There's no contracts that you're allegedly responsible for, although there is a lot of like tweets going out with athletes saying that we've signed this player to a contract extension of sorts. And so, but there's no like, it's like they're contracted, but they have the ability to go find other contracts, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
And so Bryce Underwood is obviously a big name who was heavily influenced to go to Michigan because of Tom Brady, Dave Portnoy, and there was a lot of influence. And there was initially, I think, some interest from LSU. So in terms of what is this program going to do? Where's it heading? All of the coaches have practically already been found and hired in a lot of cases. And we talk about the college football calendar. And so that's where my take comes in, saying that they knew about it earlier in the season and they decided to wait until that national signing day hit so that they wouldn't take the hit player-wise, because Lord knows that program would have gone way down under if those players hadn't signed, if those players hadn't committed to a 9-3 school that had beaten Ohio State the year previous, that was this close to a college football playoff appearance this year with a freshman quarterback as talented as Bryce Underwood going into his sophomore season. Like, there was a lot of upside for Michigan, even with Sherrone Moore, who, I said months ago, I don't think is the long-term coach. I actually thought he was always a bridge coach. But on top of that, you have the scandals, the legal scandals that they're going through about whether or not they cheated under the Harbaugh era. Sherrone Moore was part of this Harbaugh era. And so there's speculation to what are they going to do about the AD? What are they going to do about all these different hierarchical levels within the Michigan program? Because they're dealing with a ton right now. And Lord knows that, the government takes forever to do anything, and anything collegiate wise is going to take forever to make a final decision on something. So, I believe at the end of this thing, whenever it comes to a conclusion, I think they're going to be penalized in terms of like playoff appearance, in terms of, and what is that going to do for the players? I don't know. But Chad, what do you think? Like when you look at maybe they waited after signing day, what are these players eligible to do? There's no more coaches out there. Like, I mean, what do you think would be the next move for Michigan if you were in their shoes? I know that's a hard question to ask, but because we don't know all the legalities of it all and what you're allowed to do per se. But if it were you, how would you want to play this, and what would you forecast for Michigan?
Well, for Michigan, I think the AD came out and said he's like an open checkbook, like he's ready to hire like whoever he needs to hire. And I was also reading an article just about just a bunch of coaches that they could hire. But to go on a player perspective, like I have no idea what these kids are thinking going in. They just signed to go to Michigan, and then that happens. Like, do they get the same treatment as like current players that are there that if the coach is fired or if the coach leaves for a different school, that they have the free ability to go wherever they want with no penalty? I mean, you're going to no penalty anyways when you enter the transfer portal.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, but like, I think the only reason I think Bryce Underwood is going to stay was when you were just talking about it with he went to Michigan with the influencers and all that stuff with Tom Brady and stuff like that. But $10 million check sounds pretty nice too. And so I mean, I unless he pulls off the UCLA quarterback, I can't pronounce. I don't even Nico. Yeah.
Maliva.
Unless he pulls that crap, I don't really see him going anywhere. To be honest, like I think Michigan can find a good coach. I mean, I feel like they've got, in my opinion, the resources kind of, I mean, maybe just a little under Ohio State, but I feel like they can get somebody good to fill in hopefully better shoes than that guy.
Yeah, it's a premier brand in college football. So the question is who, and I think that's up for interpretation as we go on. It's hard to speculate because everyone else is like, they're signed, they're ready to go, like with these new programs. Turner, what do you think in terms of the next Michigan coach? Do you think they're going to hire within? Or do you think they're going to explore elsewhere? Maybe go with a guy like Gruden? Maybe go with a guy, that's an offensive coordinator somewhere else in the SEC or in the Big Ten? Or I don't know. I don't know who's available. That, like Chad said, Chad made a really good point saying they're an open checkbook. Blank check. Who would you go after with all of your might?
I mean, I know Kalen DeBoer had to literally put out a post like earlier today or a couple days ago saying like, "Hey, I'm committed to Alabama." So I think that Kalen DeBoer was in the whirlwinds of that for conversation, which I don't see why not. Like, I know you're fully committed to Alabama, but like, doesn't hurt to like at least try. And then I thought I heard conversations about the Arizona State head coach being in that whirlwind as well.
Yeah.
There's not really a lot of coaches that I see, at least in the current moment, that would literally tell me that Michigan is a good fit. I think the Arizona State one makes sense. Reason why I say that is because he's young. He relates to the players. A lot of the players like to play for him. And I think that's just it's like right now, you need a culture change. You need a culture change in the sense of just like, hey, whatever message that was just sent out about our coaching staff and all the employees that we have at the athletic facilities, that needs to change. And so you don't need a coach that, basically is not just good. We also need a coach that actually can bring everybody together and show that like, hey, Michigan is more than just like what we're seeing here with Sherrone Moore. Michigan is like actually a place we want to like develop your kids, get them to the place where they can succeed, all that good stuff. And so right now, I don't see a like outlandish pick that just really sticks out there that says, yes, you need to go for that guy. But I wouldn't be surprised if they try Arizona State head coach. We'll see how it goes from there.